Thank you so much for joining us on today's webinar on how to create a stellar online reputation. Today, I'm really excited to talk to you about how to increase your patient acquisition rates by becoming a highly reviewed practice or provider. So today I'll be your speaker. My name is Pauline Ith. I'm a marketing account manager here at GMR Web Team, where we help providers and practices increase patient acquisition and retention rates through a variety of different digital strategies, one of which includes strengthening your online reputation. So here are today's topics. First, we'll just be talking about why a stellar online reputation matters to you. And then we'll talk about exactly how online reviews affect patient acquisition. And then what makes a good review profile? So what are the elements that go into that? And then of course, easy to implement tips so you can create a stellar online reputation. And then at the end, I'll be answering some questions. So anytime throughout the presentation, please go ahead and leave a question in the Q&A box, and I'll be answering them at the end. And also, if you miss any part of this recording, we will be sending it to you after the webinar is over, and it will also be on our website for on-demand viewing. So perfect, let's get started. So why stellar online reputation matters. So first, we know patients check reviews. It's ingrained in our behavior as consumers. We value reviews as much as recommendations from friends and family, and healthcare is definitely no exception now. Also, better reviews result in better Google rankings. So this helps increase the likelihood that you'll be found by patients in your area, which means more inquiries to your practice. In addition to that, you can also use reviews to build credibility on social media and your website. A stellar online reputation makes you the ideal provider to new patients that are looking for care. In addition to that, you can also leverage reviews when you reach out to other physicians. Good reviews are incredibly impressive and can be an asset in making your practice stand out. Referring physicians should have no doubt in referring patients to you if you have a great online reputation. So let's talk about how exactly online reviews affect your patient acquisition rates. So like I mentioned in the previous slide, we know that most searches happen on Google. And typically Google will display your Google My Business and the most relevant review sites, and including your website, pertaining to the user's search. So if they're searching for your name or the practice name, reviews will pop up and any other information about your practice. So that's why poor reviews really do affect patient acquisition. It will make prospective patients more hesitant to reach out to you for an appointment, and that's even if they come from a referral from another physician or even from your own patient base. Again, many people are accustomed to trusting reviews. Think restaurants, hotels, products you're purchasing. Reviews are everywhere, and consumers really do want to know about the experience before they buy or make an appointment. And healthcare is definitely no exception to that now. For a lot of practices too, I do want to note that we usually see that their online reviews are an accurate reflection of their true patient satisfaction. Happy patients often forget to leave reviews, and unhappy patients tend to be the most vocal. So in order to combat that, you need to create a stellar online reputation, and you need to generate more reviews. So if you're still not convinced that your online reputation matters, well, we conducted a survey of over 1,000 patients across the US to find out how they use reviews in their provider search. And we found that 81% of patients look at online reviews before choosing a doctor. That's right, 81%. That's the majority of patients online searching for a provider right now. So it's no surprise, like I said, many consumers are really used to relying on reviews. So it's critical that you ensure your reputation is top-notch. We also found that 60% of patients check 10 or more reviews before making their decision. So think about it. How many reviews do you have right now on your profiles? One review isn't enough anymore, and there are only benefits to building a large number of reviews on your profile, especially if they're positive. It lends you more credibility and makes you look more attractive to prospective patients. In addition to that, we found that 75% of patients would only consider a provider that has a 4-star rating. So that makes sense, right? No one wants to see a doctor that has poor reviews. Like I said, especially they're being referred and their family or friend says, wow, this doctor is great. And they check their online reviews and they're kind of wondering, if it's a less than a 4-star rating, what's the disconnect? What's going on? And remember, a lot of patients really want to avoid having a bad experience themselves. So you want to ensure you have at least a 4-star rating on your profiles. In addition to that, outdated reviews don't hold any weight. We found that 32% of consumers don't trust a review older than 2 years old. So we always emphasize to clients that getting reviews on a consistent basis is definitely critical. Many people will get 5 to 10 reviews and think that's enough, but sooner or later, those reviews will definitely be outdated. So that comes to our next point, and what makes a good review profile? So keeping all of those stats in mind, what should you strive to achieve? So first, you want to maintain at least a 4-star rating. Anything less only hurts you. And you can see that from this local listing that I pulled for an urgent care center. You can definitely see the first and last urgent care on here are definitely the most appealing in terms of reviews, right? You won't be inclined to go to someone with 2.4 stars or even no reviews compared to the ones that have really great ratings. Second, you want to have at least 10 reviews. The more, the better. And also, the more positive reviews you're getting, it'll help your Google rankings. Third, get at least 2 to 3 reviews per month. Not every patient needs to leave a review. It's a little bit unlikely for that to happen, but make sure you're getting enough reviews every month to meet the recency criteria. So at least 2 to 3 is pretty good to increase your star rating in addition to building on that quantity of reviews. And another common question I get is which online review sites are most relevant, as there's so many out there. So our research also helps answer that question. So we find that with Google, it's king. 66% of prospective patients check Google reviews. So definitely focus on getting more positive reviews here first. Second, we found that patients really do value WebMD at 39%. They check reviews. A lot more patients are becoming increasingly aware of healthcare-focused sites like WebMD, Healthgrades, and Vitals. So it's critical that you're getting new reviews there also. In addition to that, the third most checked site is Yelp. So yeah, Yelp still matters. I know it's been kind of a topic of contention, but from our survey, it's still something that's very prominent with patients and they still check it. So these are the top 3 sites that you should focus on. However, your focus should still be getting on reviews across all the relevant review sites. That includes Facebook, Healthgrades, and Vitals, like I mentioned. However, you just want to make sure you have good reviews because, for example, if you have good reviews on one site and poor reviews on another, it can still create a lot of doubt with prospective patients. And we also found through our survey that 69% of patients visit 2 or more review platforms when looking for a doctor. So, like I said, there's nothing, no negative effects if you get more positive reviews across the board. It's the negative reviews that you have to watch out for, right? So now let's talk about exactly how to create a stellar online reputation. So I just gave you the foundation, and reasons why you should care. So let's talk about how you can leverage more reviews and generate more reviews, right? So first tip. So in order to build a stellar online reputation, you need to make sure you claim your listings and your online review listing profiles are accurate. So make sure you claim all relevant profiles. Like I said, I know I mentioned a lot of different sites, but you want to make sure you claim it for the practice and the provider itself. A lot of times these review sites will allow you to have listings for an individual provider in addition to the actual office. And this is critical because patients typically will search for both. They will search for the provider name and practice. And this is true if you have multiple providers at the practice too. So I want to make sure you do that. And then hit all the major review sites, Google, WebMD, Healthgrades, Vitals, Yelp, Facebook, make sure it's all claimed. And then you also want to make sure your name, address, and phone number are consistent on all the review sites. So this might seem like common sense, but a lot of the times when we have new clients join us at GMR, we find that their listings are about 60% accurate. That's what the average is. And this can be due to a variety of reasons. The most common two, we typically find that their name is not always the most accurate. And this might be due to SEO purposes. For example, if they had a previous agency they were working with and they added some kind of verbiage after the actual name of the practice. Or maybe if they're using provider names, sometimes listings have a last name first rather than the first name. So you just want to make sure it's accurate across all profiles. In addition to that, with the address, make sure that suite number, if you have one, it is the same. So if you're using suite spelled out, you just want to make sure it's like that across all profiles. Or if you use pound 104 in this case, you just want to make sure it's the same. In addition to that, it's the phone number. And another benefit too with having your online review listing profiles be accurate is that it helps your Google rankings. Google likes it when all the information is correct so they can point patients and searchers in the right direction, right? So it benefits your reputation in addition to your online presence. So perfect. And then I also want to show you what a individual provider listing looks like. So you can see here, this is a Healthgrades profile. The practice name, provider name, and address are listed along with a phone number. And this is also a great way you can share more information about yourself as a provider in the practice. So what insurances you accept, what exact services are available, do you do telehealth, are you accepting new patients, and also what hospitals you're affiliated with. It helps patients make better decisions and if you're the right provider for them, right? So just want to show you an individual provider profile here. So here's tip number 2, monitor your online reviews. So how can you understand your online reputation if you don't monitor reviews, right? So you want to make sure you enable all notifications for online reviews, do weekly check-ins on all review sites. Many practices I talk to have no clue about their ratings on any review sites. So by keeping tabs, you'll know where to generate more reviews. So you can assign this to one of your staff members or you yourself, every week, check in and look at all the reviews that are available. In addition to that, take some time to actually, digest the feedback. Many people obviously focus on what the negative reviews are, which of course is very important, but it's also critical to see what the positive reviews are talking about, right? So what are you exactly doing right? This helps improve the overall patient experience and ensures that you help mitigate any negative reviews that are about the same issue, right? So in this next slide, I just want to show you, if your reviews definitely go left unchecked, what that looks like. So you can see here, these 2 reviews are in close proximity to each other, a few weeks apart. And you can see here the common complaint is about the price. Clearly, there's some kind of miscommunication about insurance coverage, what the staff is saying. Of course, I know sometimes patients can be a little bit overdramatic, but still, by keeping up with these reviews, you can nip the problem in the bud so people aren't facing the same issues and writing about the same things. Because to prospective patients, they'll be seeing that and be thinking, okay, so if I go to this place, I'll probably have the same issues as all these people who are reviewing, right? So you just want to make sure you're keeping tabs on everything. So 3rd tip, you want to make sure you create a review solicitation process to generate more reviews. First thing is to train your staff on asking patients for reviews. So we find that a lot of practices don't really have some kind of formal process or the staff isn't actively asking. So it's critical to train them. For example, a great way to do is that when patients check out of an appointment, ask them to share their experience on Google and Healthgrades and let them know that reviews definitely help your practice grow. Like we mentioned in the beginning, happy patients often forget to leave a review. So by giving them a reminder and a reason why, it'll motivate them further to leave a review online. In addition to that, make it easy to leave an online review. Patients nowadays have short attention spans, and that's just general consumer behavior. So if it's too difficult to leave a review, they will be, giving up on it. So for example, you can hand out cards with an easy to type link to your Google profile or your Healthgrades profile. We really recommend using QR codes. And this is especially popular nowadays from COVID. When you go to a restaurant, you can scan the menu on a QR code. So do the same. You can link it out to your Google profile, WebMD, and places like that. And this is a great way too, if your patient base skews a little older. A lot of times they don't know how to navigate and leave a review. So after the appointment, you kind of sit them down like in front of the QR code and just show them exactly how to leave a review. That's one of the benefits of having these cards and a QR code. Third, and one of the best ways to generate reviews is to use an online reputation management software. So this will streamline your process and help you effectively and efficiently collect more reviews. So we encourage all practices to have this. Some kind of online reputation software. Sometimes EMRs will have some kind of platform built in. But this is especially critical if you're a practice with a high volume of patients in multiple locations. It can be a lot for your staff to manage patient care, balancing a good patient experience along with asking for reviews. So a software solution definitely helps with making things easier on your staff. So now I'm going to share a process we do at GMR because we have our own proprietary platform, but it helps give you more information on how you can, when you're searching for different vendors, what might work for you. So here's an overview of our process. It's typically a two-step process. So we send patients a text or email survey after they've been checked out of their appointment. And this process also helps us monitor patient satisfaction, right? And then with positive reviews, we'll ask them to leave a review. We often will list 3 review sites to give them plenty of options. For example, with Google, patients will definitely need a Gmail. That's a must. So that's why we usually have Facebook, Healthgrades, and other sites to give them more variety of where they can leave a review. And if a patient answers negatively to a survey, our clients will receive the feedback immediately and can address it so they can retain the patient. So this helps mitigate the chances someone will leave a negative review online because the patient will have a chance to essentially rant to you first. But remember, no reputation platform can 100% protect you from negative reviews. Patients and prospects are always free to just head directly to the review site to post their review. However, the best defense to any negative reviews is to generate more genuine reviews to ensure your online reputation and reviews reflect the true level of patient satisfaction. Because when you only have one outlier of one negative review, it'll definitely seem like something, like I said, that's an outlier rather than a continuing trend. So that's what we recommend. And we also suggest that you find a platform that allows you to integrate with your EMR because this allows you to upload patients automatically rather having your staff input everything. Because then if you're seeing a high volume, it can become a little bit overwhelming to automatically just or manually send out surveys and things like that. So we definitely recommend EMR integration and having the options to leave reviews on multiple review sites. Because like I said, patients check 2 or more platforms. So you want to be able to leave the reviews accordingly. So perfect. So now we know how to monitor and generate more reviews. So let's talk about how to respond to online reviews, right? So the way you respond to reviews definitely matter, and it's definitely part of your online reputation. So we recommend responding to all reviews, whether it's positive or negative, because remember, prospective patients are coming online and trying to learn more about you. So when they see these negative reviews, they want to know, okay, well, what's the practice's response to that? So some tips, major thing is to make sure you stay professional and calm. A lot of times it's kind of hard to do that when a review is very combative or the patient comes off a little bit as over dramatic, but it's really critical that, like I said, you stay professional and calm because if you create a rude response back, prospective patients will see that and that will be a very big turnoff for them. So another thing too, beware of mentioning any personal health information. It's easy to accidentally mention that, especially when the patient themselves give that info, but make sure you don't mention too many things and just keep it really brief. But here are some exact tips on how to respond to negative reviews and what we find that works best. So first, you want to personalize the response. Make sure you address the reviewer by their first name if possible, and ensure your response addresses the points they've made. Canned or robotic responses definitely do not come off as genuine. So second, thank them for the review. And yes, thank them for the review, even if it's a negative review. You can see that here. Our client definitely says, thank you for your feedback. And you can just keep it as simple as that. Third, you want to acknowledge the problem they are commenting on. So is it the wait time, staff interactions? Comes back to our first point where we want to ensure the response is personalized in order to not come off as a robotic and canned response. Fourth, you want to make sure you apologize for the negative experience and make sure you show empathy. And then fifth, most importantly, provide a way to take the discussion further offline. So you can offer a phone number, an email will also work. So don't go back and forth with the reviewer. A lot of times, you might feel inclined to do so, but take it offline. You can see here, our client says they're more than happy to discuss further. They can just call this number. So that's what we suggest when it comes to responding to negative reviews. And you can see here too, This is another great response. The patient complained about the check-in process, the wait time, and the client produced a customized response that addressed the issue, and that the scheduler and scheduling app was fixed. So now the prospective patient that will see this review knows that the practice is proactive in fixing any issues. So perfect. You turn a negative review into an opportunity to improve your online reputation. So last tip I have is to showcase your testimonials and reviews. You've worked really hard to generate all these positive reviews, so you want to make sure you leverage it in order to show your credibility. So for our clients, we create a customized testimonial page, as you can see here, and this automatically pulls reviews in real time for Google. But that's not always necessary. You can display the latest patient feedback on your website page on your site and just make sure you update it periodically. Second thing too is to add reviews to your homepage. We recommend having it in a little carousel. You can work with your web designer in order to do this, or like I said, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. You can just add a section that has 2 to 3 reviews listed on there. And like I said, this shows credibility. So when patients are looking online, they're checking your reviews, they're checking your website, you really want to make your positive patient experiences stand out and show that you are the best provider for people to choose. In addition to that, it's a really great way to show any referring physicians or referring patients about how great your practice is, and really show, that anyone should be comfortable in referring their patients and friends and family to you, right? So that's the last tip that we have here. So I want to just go over now just a quick summary of what we discussed, because I know we went over a lot of things. First, we talked about how online reputation plays a role in patient acquisition, right? So bad reviews result in less patient inquiries. And then we also talked about what you should be striving to achieve for in your review profile. So make sure you have at least a 4-star rating, at least 10 reviews, and getting 2 to 3 reviews every month on a consistent basis. And then you also want to make sure you claim all your review profiles and ensure that your name, address, and phone number are all consistent across all the review sites. In addition to that, monitor reviews and create a whole entire process for review solicitation, whether that's a QR code, a business card with an easy to type link, or an online reputation management software. Because without a formal process, you're just relying on patients to hopefully leave a review, right? And that's typically it doesn't work like that. In addition to that, we also talked about how to respond to reviews, make sure you're very professional in your response, and ensure that you're responding to negative and positive reviews, right? And we also talked about how to showcase your online reviews on your website and ensuring that you're continuing to leverage all the great reviews that you have. So perfect. So that's exactly how you can create a stellar online reputation. Now let's talk about questions and answers here. So let me go ahead and check if we have any questions. So let's see here. So I have one question here. It asks, can I get a negative review taken down? Okay, so that depends. It depends on what the negative review is saying. If you're kind of debating, if you claim that the patient is not saying something true, I'm not sure if Google will take it. It's kind of up to their discretion. A lot of times in their policy, you can see that Google will say they can't determine what is true and what isn't. So I recommend in that case, making sure you still respond to the review and be professional and appropriate, and maybe you can politely correct them on what they had incorrect in their review. But if the review is violating any kind of policy for that review site, so for example, sometimes our patients get spam reviews, that can definitely be taken down. If the review's off topic, so it's definitely talking about something else not related to the practice, that can also be taken down. Or if it's derogatory anyway, promotes any violence and violates the terms, then you can definitely report the review. But I also want to mention, it doesn't really hurt you to report any reviews. So if you feel like I want to just see if I can get this review taken down, you definitely can. Worst can happen is they say no, but it's more critical, like I mentioned, to generate more reviews, more positive reviews to show that that review is definitely an outlier. So that's my advice there. Here's another question. How do I generate QR codes for the review links? Okay, yeah, so that's pretty easy to do. If you're working with an agency right now, they should be able to do that for you. But otherwise, you could just Google QR code generator. There's so many different options out there right now, and a lot of times it is free. And then you can go ahead and put the link to your review profile, generate the review, and then you can copy and paste it on a flyer, on a business card, or you can even input it on your website. So you can add it to your website, and then if you have a tablet in the office, you can just show patients and they can scan the QR code. Another question is, do I have an account to be able to leave an online review on a certain site? So I mentioned this briefly in my presentation, but Google does require a Gmail, which is why it's critical you have other review options, because if you don't have other review options, then you're losing out a lot of patients who could potentially leave reviews. I know health grades, you don't really need an account. You just write your review and then they just ask for an email address to create the account right there. Facebook, obviously you need a Facebook account, and same thing with Yelp, you do need an account. But WebMD and a lot of the healthcare focused sites, you don't really need an account pre-made. You can just go ahead and leave the review, even anonymously too. And yeah, I think that's all the questions we have today. So perfect. So I just want to thank you for joining us on our webinar today. If you have any questions on your online presence or online reputation, you just want to learn more about online reviews and what you can do to improve your current strategy right now, we're more than happy to help. You can head over to gmrwebteam.com or email us at info@gmrwebteam or give us a call, and we're more than happy to do a free consultation and then discuss about your goals and what exactly you're looking for. So perfect. Like I said, thank you so much for joining us. The recording will be available at the end of this meeting and also on our website.